Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining. My name is Joe Lichtenberg, and I am responsible for product and industry marketing worldwide here at InterSystems. And I'd like to talk to you today about enabling a data-driven enterprise. So I think it's safe to say that most, if not all, financial services organizations today are all striving to become more data-driven. But what exactly does that mean? So in this session, I'd like to start by sharing some recent market research, hot off the presses, from interviews that we had with 100 C-level executives at large financial services organizations around the world. I'll also talk a bit about the most recent findings from the top technology analysts in data management and in financial services. And then also share with you what we're seeing from our financial services customers around the challenges and the initiatives that they're seeing around being able to use more of their data faster to help meet a wide variety of their business goals. Okay, so I hope you find this interesting. So before I get into it, as a brief introduction to our company, if you're not familiar with InterSystems, we're a data management software company. And our software is used at more than half of the top global banks, typically to solve enterprise-wide data management, data integration, analytics initiatives, especially for companies that need to work with lots of data from many different sources around the extended enterprise, and typically for a wide range of both run the bank types of initiatives as well as change the bank types of initiatives. Okay, so again, we just published a study where we sponsored research that asked about the top data-related challenges and initiatives from C-level executives at large financial services organizations. And what we found is that most firms are pretty evenly split between advancing their compliance and risk management initiatives and more strategic change the bank kinds of initiatives. And by the way, we'll send everyone a link to the complete survey document after today's session, or you can go to the link on the bottom of the screen and download it directly. So looking at some of the survey results, here we can see that more than half of firms are still spending a significant percentage of the data practice budget on compliance activities. So more than 60% said that compliance activities are consuming 40% of the budget. That's the big purple line. More than 20% said that it consumes 50% of the budget, and a small number say that it's 60%. So in total, in aggregate, 88% of firms are spending at least 40% of their budget on compliance initiatives. And that's not really a surprise because these can be really hard problems to solve. So here you can see in green, the top area of regulatory concern is around risk data aggregation, followed by CFO attestation and CCAR. And part of what makes these hard problems is that they require incorporating a lot of different data from different systems across the enterprise, integrating and harmonizing the data into a consistent format, and running different types of analytics and running different scenarios on the data. So not only are these compliance initiatives high priority, but you can also see in blue that they can be highly resource intensive. And I'll talk more about why that is, but consider that there's a lot involved in providing access to accurate, integrated, and harmonized data, much of it real-time or near real-time data, and being able to run the appropriate analytics on it, understanding the source of the data, how trustworthy it is, what's been done to it since it left the source system, how old it is, and so on. So another interesting data point is the percentage of compliance activities that are still handled manually. So even with the significant amount of budget being spent on these activities, 95% of firms are still handling at least 40% of compliance activities manually. And those are the three bars that you see on the right-hand side. And so that means they're not as efficient as they can be. They can be prone to errors, and certainly they're ripe for further automation and improvement. So in the survey, we defined defensive data strategy and an offensive data strategy. And a defensive data strategy is more around mitigating risk and compliance and preventing theft and fraud and security and so on. And offensive data strategy are more strategic, change the bank types of initiatives. And you can read about all of these in the details in the full report. Specifically around an offensive data strategy, we see things around better decision support and using machine learning and predictive analytics to identify new types of services that you can offer your customers, finding new revenue streams, ways to gain a larger share of wallet, how to provide customers with better experiences, onboarding new customers faster. Maybe I need to compete better against the newer fintechs, and so on. Okay, so we asked about the various initiatives for both offensive and defensive initiatives in the report, and specifically we asked what that means in terms of the tech stack. And what we found in the survey is that there are literally dozens of different kinds of data management technologies that are being used to meet the needs of the business. So things like governance and quality and data catalog and inventory and reference data management and lineage and business glossaries and so on and so forth. And clearly this is just a partial list, right? I mean, there are data integration and analytics and machine learning and database management and cloud technologies and so on and so forth, right? And it's really no surprise that it's complicated. And there's many different technology options and choices, and hundreds, if not thousands, of different product options to choose from. So the question is, how do we make sense of all of this tech in trying to meet the goals of the business? So there's a recognition by many organizations, as well as the industry and technology analysts, that there's this emerging reference architecture that combines a number of different technologies to provide the organization with access to clean, harmonized data from across the organization that they can use for decision support, for compliance functions, for reporting on enterprise risk, for automating end-to-end processes, both internally as well as externally, to accelerate and speed development of new externally facing services for customers and so on. And it's called an enterprise data fabric. So if you see on the left from Gartner, screenshot from Gartner, the large technology analyst firm, Gartner says that an enterprise data fabric is a future of data management. Similarly, Forrester, another very large, well-respected technology analyst firm, publishes a WAVE report, which is similar to the Gartner Magic Quadrant, specifically on an enterprise data fabric. And an enterprise data fabric is not a product. You can't just go buy one. It's a reference architecture that financial services organizations are implementing. And it incorporates many different data management functions and technologies in order to collect and integrate data and make accurate, integrated, harmonized data available for the business in real time on demand. So it's not yet another data store. It's not a data warehouse. It's not a data lake, although those are typically data sources that feed into it. It's this dynamic data fabric or data layer that allows the business to get access to the data that it needs in real time, on demand, as it's needed. So we see this being used as the foundational layer or architectural approach for many different kinds of initiatives with our financial services customers, both defensive around risk and visibility and transparency and so on and so forth, as well as offensive, more strategic initiatives. And so I wanted to call out some of the use cases that we're seeing with our customers that make use of this approach. So business management reporting, being able to provide the business heads with access to the data that they need, that is not delayed, and the ability to introspect and drill into and navigate on the data as needed to help them with visibility and to make better business decisions in real time or near real time. Certainly around regulatory reporting, for example, digital regulatory reporting, which is gaining traction right now. Certainly around enterprise risk and liquidity, being able to understand and have visibility into data from all aspects of the business around risk levels. Open banking initiatives, especially now with access to services and data, not only inside the organization, but outside the organization as well, and being able to participate in those ecosystems. And we also see firms providing data as a service and application functionality or services as a service available via public APIs, and just a whole slew of digital transformation initiatives. So I wanted to talk about one current customer implementation where we're helping one of our financial services customers, a large bank, with high-level business management reporting. And the problem that they wanted to solve was that they'd been generating batch static reports for the business heads. And it was taking a long time to generate the reports, and the data wasn't live. And so they wanted to make it so that the managers would be able to have access to live data on demand and drill into the data and navigate and understand it better, so that ultimately they could understand the business better, have better transparency, and make better decisions. So I'm going to take you through a simplified architecture diagram. So they're ingesting data from many different systems around the bank for positions and market value and exposure and cash balances, not only from systems, but from flat files and from existing data warehouses and their data lake in different formats, all with different interfaces and protocols. And so here we can start to see how the data flows through this enterprise data fabric and the different services and the different stakeholders for the data. So there's a data integration layer where they're processing the data and integrating it and harmonizing it. There's a multi-dimensional set of data management capabilities for processing data and events and transactions and requests, regardless of the format of the data, and also being able to run analytic workloads on the data as well as it comes in, data lineage, data governance, a common semantic layer across all the data, a common security layer, the ability to run analytics and explore the data catalog. And this, in large part, is the purview of both data engineers and data stewards, but then making that data available through a variety of different standard interfaces to the business, right? And so the goal is to make the information available to the various business applications that need it and analytics tools, as well as to the business users on demand, so that the business users can drill into the data and ask questions of the data, including real-time data as it's happening. So again, this is a pretty simplified representation of the actual implementation that we're doing, but hopefully it gives you an idea. So the trick is, how can you speed and simplify the development of these kinds of initiatives and applications that need to pull data from many different silos for things like dynamic business management reporting with less effort and lower total cost of ownership. And that's where a modern data platform can help. So the best data platforms available in the industry right now are providing many of the underlying capabilities that are needed to help you essentially build a smart enterprise data fabric, and providing these capabilities in a single platform so that you don't need to select and integrate and maintain so many different point solutions. So no one product does everything. It is a reference architecture that you do need to build based on your data sources and requirements of your business. But doing so and using a modern data platform can simplify the architecture, can reduce the number of moving parts in the data fabric, and ultimately help you accelerate these efforts and get to business value faster. So just again as a reminder about what we do here at InterSystems, our company provides data management software and services to more than half the top global banks, as well as we work with many mid-tier financial services organizations, as well as fintechs. And we're not only helping our customers to address specific business initiatives around the entire spectrum of applications, both run the bank and defensive types of initiatives, as well as more strategic change the bank types of initiatives. But in so doing, for many of them, we're helping them implement an enterprise-wide smart data fabric, again, to help them with initiatives around risk and compliance and business management reporting and digital transformation, and helping them do it faster and with less effort and lower total cost of ownership. So if you have any questions, absolutely feel free to reach out to me on any of these channels, or feel free to send me an email. I would be more than happy to connect with you. I hope this was interesting in sharing the results of the recent survey of your peers, as well as describing to you what we're seeing from our purview in the marketplace. Thank you all for your attention.